Alright guys, I'm trimming the families because it's harvest day, so hopefully the audio's not too bad. But I saw that video of that smelly racist Indian guy stealing my pitch for Age of Empires Race War. I don't know how he got his fucking hands on it, but he gave my pitch while making himself look like me, and I can't let that stand. So all that's left for me to do now is to set the record straight and give my version of the pitch. So Age of Empires Race War, the greatest Kickstarter you will ever hear. You got that much right. I'll now go through the races from the strongest race to the weakest race. First up, we have the White Aryans. Their flag consists of the sun, the moon, and the pole star. That is because these things are bastions of whiteness and are indicative of God's love. I'm gonna have to go fast because the phone's almost dead and out of storage. So, indicative of God's love. Race bonuses: smartest of God's races. So they gather all resources 200% faster. They build buildings 5 times as fast. They will build all buildings with 3 times as many hit points. They will research all technology instantaneously and free of charge. All units will train 20% faster because they're smarter, so they do their training quicker. They have +3 to line of sight due to superior eye structure and +10% to movement speed from superior nose structure. Next is the East Asians. Now the East Asians and all their non-white Aryans suffer from second-hand knowledge. Since the Aryans invented all their tech, these other people use it only 33% as effectively. The East Asians have -10 to line of sight. They have -50 to unit size. They have -5 to projectile unit range. They have 2 unique buildings. First is the Mammalian. This will passively generate mammalian creatures inside over time. The Chink villagers can then harvest them for food, with food, wood, and coin being the 3 resources in this game. The next is nothing to see here. You can attempt to essentially build trees over a pre-existing building with this build. Now, this doesn't really work, but you can try. The next race is the American Blacks. So the American Blacks suffer from systemic oppression, causing a 10% reduction to training rate, research rate, and gather rate. Now, Blame Whitey will decrease all of this by another 10%, but Whitey's will be decreased by 0.0001% or less. They have the race bonus of these white people try to kill me. This allows them to flee from any lighter skinned unit at 200% speed, so their kiting is really good. Their next bonus is that 50% of their gold goes directly to their explorer. This is to buy him first a gun, then he gets a car for drive-bys, and then he gets a stereo and the rims for his car so he can do it like a boss nigga. Now, their next bonus is 50% of their gold goes straight to this guy to finance that. Well, no, that's what I just said. I think I just said that 50% goes straight to him. Regardless, I go fast. Alright, so they can attempt to deal drugs to any other unit in the game, any non-black unit. They can attempt to sell drugs to them. 50% success chance. If it's successful, the black gets the money, and the non-black unit gets debuffed by 15% for the rest of the game unless healed by an Aryan priest. Now, the next race is the Native Americans. They have alcoholism, so that's -25% to hit points. They have -15% reduction to size. Reservations. Due to reservations, you can pay to open up a reservation in an opposing player's base. This will generate gold per minute based on how many units that person has. Now, this is especially good against the White Aryans because I forgot to say this. The White Aryans' population ceiling is unlimited, whereas everyone else has one of 200. This is because God does not want to limit the expansion of the brilliance of the White Aryans. So, either way, the reservations are especially good against the White Aryans because of their unlimited unit count. You can essentially get unlimited gold per minute off of them. The next race would be the Middle Easterners. They smell bad, so that's -30% stats to anyone in a 40 tile radius. Due to their disdain for women and choice of child brides, they do have -20% to production speed. Units will explode on death. This causes little damage to military units, but a high multiplier to civilian units. So high elo Middle Eastern players will naturally go and suicide attack villagers, and then they blow up, killing more villagers. They also have the bonus of camel jockeys. So instead of horses, they ride camels. These are 20% slower and have 10% less hit points. Dead babies on video will cause sympathy from lighter-skinned races, so 1 in 10 of their units will be a Middle Easterner allowed into the country unharmed. The Middle Easterner will then naturally attack the civilians of the lighter-skinned race and then kill them. And then on top of that, they'll blow up on death, killing more of them. The next would be the Hindustanis. Like the Middle Easterners, they smell bad. So -30% to stats of anyone in a 40 tile radius. They have +20% production speed due to their forceful breeding methods. They have -20% to hit points from not washing hands and poop everywhere. And then they burn their widows. So that's -20% essentially to the cost of all units, because anytime you lose a unit, you get 20% of its cost back since you burn their widow rather than giving her the inheritance that she would get. Now, the next race is a worldwide crime syndicate of sorts. They are faggots and friends with the Pope, who is a faggot. And all of the above are people and God-hating faggots who hate anyone who isn't a people and God-hating faggot like them. They do have all their villagers having a homosexual orgy in front of their town center. This is true to life. They do this rather than producing their own shit. And instead, they have a white Aryan AI with 200% increased gather rate playing at max skill cap that sends all their resources straight to them free of charge, as well as the cartel being able to send in an unlimited number of military and economic shipments from these people. Now, the mercenaries will leave the map at 50% hit points, however, because they don't want to work for these faggots. The next bonus is child trafficking. Due to this, every 10 units produced by another race, the cartel will child traffic one and force him to join the homosexual orgy. The next bonus is Hate's God. Due to this, the cartel cannot win the game. If they get the other player down to 1 unit left, all the cartel units will die from AIDS because they're faggots, and then the mercenaries will destroy their town and steal all their resources. The next thing is if the opposing player disconnects, all the cartel shit will explode and the win will be given to the disconnected player. Age of Empires Race War. Fuck that smelly Indian guy for stealing my pitch.